We ask AI to do some pretty amazing things, right? Write code, analyze massive data sets, even create incredible art. But today, we're asking a different kind of question. Can it do something that feels, well, uniquely human? Can an AI actually tell a good joke?
Or maybe the better question is, can a machine that thinks in ones and zeros, that takes everything literally, ever really get the nuance, the timing, the whole vibe of human humor? That's what we're digging into today. That huge gap between just processing words and actually understanding what they mean.
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at what makes us laugh. Then we'll dive into some hilarious examples of AI getting it completely wrong. From there, things get a bit more serious, because we'll see what happens when that same confusion has real-world consequences. And finally, we'll wrap up by looking at what this all means for the future of AI.
Okay, so before we can grade the AI's homework, we kind of need to know the rules of the assignment. What actually makes something funny? It's not just random. It's a real craft. According to comedy writer Brian Luff, human humor is built on these proven formulas. You've got stuff like escalation, where a tiny problem spirals into complete chaos, or working backwards, where you start with the punchline and build the joke up to it. It's all about playing with expectations and our shared sense of what's normal and what's totally absurd. It is a genuine art form.
And then you have this. This is a joke an AI came up with. I mean, sure, it's technically a pun, right? Based on the periodic table, but it's got none of that human craft. There's no build-up, no surprise. Just a very, very literal and, let's be real, kind of cringy bit of wordplay.
Now this is really fascinating, because the challenge goes way beyond just telling jokes. Look at sarcasm. A basic chatbot hears you say, "I just love waiting," and takes you at your word. Great, glad you love it. So frustrating. A more advanced one can use context clues to figure out you're probably not happy. But here's the key. It's not understanding your frustration, it's just recognizing a pattern it's seen before.
Okay, so now let's look at what happens when that pattern recognition goes completely off the rails. Because when AI fails, the results can be just unintentionally hilarious. These aren't jokes the AI is telling us, these are jokes the AI becomes. You gotta love this one. A customer at a Chevy dealership basically tricked the support chatbot. He got it to agree to end every reply with this phrase. Then he said, "Okay, I'll buy a new Chevy Tahoe for $1. And the bot said, "You guessed it, that's a deal. And that's a legally binding offer, no takies backsies." Yeah, they shut that bot down really fast.
Or how about this one? A McDonald's drive-thru AI got stuck in a loop. A customer was trying to order some chicken nuggets, and the AI just kept adding more. The order eventually climbed past 2,000 chicken nuggets. It just had no context for what a normal order looks like.
And sometimes the AI's literal grain just causes total confusion. A pizza joint in New York, where, they call a pizza a pie, used AI to make images for its menu. Well, the AI heard pie, and it generated a beautiful picture of a fruit pie. Probably not what their customers were hoping for. And these mistakes can range from just plain weird to actually dangerous. A supermarket in New Zealand launched an AI meal planner. At first, it was just spitting out gross stuff like Oreo vegetable stir-fry. But then people realized it would also create recipes for things like poison bread sandwiches and, get this, a drink that would literally create chlorine gas if you mixed it. Yikes. Okay, it's easy to laugh at all this, right? A $1 car, a mountain of McNuggets. It's all pretty funny. But it does make you stop and think. If an AI can't tell the difference between a pizza pie and a cherry pie, what happens when we start asking it to understand things that are much, much more important? And this is where the story takes a sharp turn, because the very same issues, that lack of context, that inability to get the nuance, can have incredibly serious, even dangerous consequences when we use AI in high-stakes situations.
So, a recent study looked at exactly that. They investigated the safety of using AI chatbots for mental health support. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's hard to get access to human therapists, so people are turning to these apps. But researchers wanted to know, are they actually safe?
And what they found was pretty chilling. When they fed the chatbots a common, indirect way someone might signal they're in crisis, the AI completely missed it. It couldn't read between the lines. It couldn't understand the human cry for help. Instead, it just literally answered the question, giving a list of tall bridges, information that could be incredibly dangerous. And this wasn't just a one-off error. The study found a whole pattern of unsafe responses. These bots were actually encouraging delusional thoughts, giving advice that goes against established therapy practices,
and even discriminating against users with certain diagnoses. It's really serious stuff.
So what is going on here? Why is there such a massive gap between how a human expert performs and how an AI tool does? Well, it all comes back to that one core idea. An AI can process data, but a human can understand nuance. In this chart, wow, it just puts it in such stark terms. In that same study, licensed human therapists gave appropriate responses 93% of the time. That's an A. The best AI therapy bots? They were appropriate less than 60% of the time. That means they were giving bad or even harmful advice almost half the time.
All right, let's tie all of this together. From dad jokes to dangerous advice, what's the big takeaway here? What's the real punchline to this whole story about AI and humor?
Well, it's that the 2000 nugget order isn't a sign that AI is developing a sense of humor. It's actually a symptom of its biggest weakness. The humor is totally unintentional. It's a bright flashing sign pointing not to the AI's wit, but to its fundamental inability to grasp our world.
As Kevin Kleiman, one of the study's researchers, put it, the point here isn't to stop AI development. It's to be smart about it. It's about making sure we don't rush to deploy systems that can cause real harm just because the tech is exciting.
So, at the end of the day, an AI's ability to sound human is not the same thing as understanding humans. It can predict the next word in a sentence with terrifying accuracy, but it doesn't know the hope or the fear or the sarcasm or the humor behind that sentence. And that little distinction, it's everything.
And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. As these systems get more and more powerful and woven into our lives, what are we really building? Are we creating a partner that will one day understand our jokes and laugh along with us? Or are we building a tool that will forever be on the outside looking in, maybe even laughing at us and the strange, illogical things we humans do?